It's funny. Last week I had a customer call asking if they could talk. They said, "Does he need an agent?" So he's 17. Should we get an agent at this point? And it was a very late OHL pick, right? And so you know what my answer was. Like it was no, but we had a good discussion about it. Like because I don't want to just say no without
The
because
why.
at the why or understanding what are you looking for one for, what do you consider an agent and all that stuff. So we had a good conversation. But yesterday I had I got a text here, and this is I'll never say the name, but a friend of mine. So he has a son that was drafted in the NHL, and it's he's in his signing window right now, and so I don't maybe they're working on it, or it's maybe not happening, or maybe it is. I don't know what the issues is there, but I'm just I'm going to actually be talking to him today, but I'm going to be putting this together. What?
Putting some context behind it. Is that what you mean?
No, I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. No, I was just saying like that's my own thoughts.
Yeah,
That's like
sure.
that's what it appears to me based on his question. So, but it could be something totally different. But anyways, he said, "Hey Andy, and I have a question for you. How do you know? I can read well. How do how do you, I do read? I do. I'm good at reading, just to myself in my head. Okay, hey Andy, I have a question for you. How do you know that your agent is working for you or not? And this could actually be one of your next podcast interviews and signed whatever." So I said, "Is it okay if I actually talk about it tomorrow? It'll come out Sunday." He goes, "Yeah, absolutely." And then, "Do you want to call me about this and we'll talk?" And he goes, "Yeah, I do." So I'm talking to him today at later today. So how do you know your agent is working for you? And it's a good question, but it's a loaded question because first of all, what is an agent? What is an advisor? What type of agent? What do you mean working for you? What do you expect from them? All those
No,
things.
where's the kid at? Where, like,
Right
all
on,
this
right
stuff.
on.
There's a
So
million things.
yeah,
Yeah.
so in this particular situation, we have a. I'll give a little background of the player himself. Good player, real good. High draft pick in the OHL. Pretty high draft pick in the NHL. So OHL, NHL. Been to some of the prestigious, I'm not going to say which ones because I don't want anybody to ever figure out who it is. Been to the prestigious things like, let's call it the U17s, the U18s, the top prospects, NHL top prospects camps, all those different things, the combine, all that kind of stuff.
So this is a legit player.
Legit player,
Yeah.
legit player, good player.
That's the bottom line.
Good player. So drafted, and he's in the middle of it. So we're not talking about someone that is looking for, like, his agent is doing it. He's a good player, right? So how do you know he's working for you? So let me back up now. So this is the player we're talking about. So it's not like they're just a guy that got an agent just so he can get a job, like a junior position somewhere, making phone calls. So this was a guy that had a bigger agencies come up to him and say, like, we would like to sign you and take care of you. Okay. So a lot of people, like, if you're a top end player when you're younger, especially like say the 15, 16, 17, 18, what an agent is in the big scheme of things, this is what it is. It's someone that's going to represent you to help you negotiate your contracts. That's what it is. They represent you. So when we used an agent, the only thing we've really used our agent for was when my son was in his draft year. And this, I hope this makes sense. When he was in his draft year, there's not much the agent can do. This was in his OHL draft year, except for they have some relationships, and a lot of the teams will go through the agent and they can have relationships and say, yeah, we see this. Would he come here? Would he want to come here? This is where we slot him. So through the first, like the couple, like the month before the OHL draft, every week or so, he'd give us an idea. Oh, I heard you had this team called and said you had an interview. They would like the interview. They like you. They have you slotted in around here. And it was information. Okay. And it was kind of good because it was like, okay,
I give you a clue.
Yeah, like based on what we're getting as information is you're going to be a pretty high pick, like actually very high pick. So that was like cool. So like, but you can't hold the Ottawa 67s to we're taking you at this number because things can change, things can happen. But it was a ballpark. And at this point, Ian is doing work for free, right? I'm not paying him. We don't pay him right now for the work that he does. So like if this kid comes through at 22 years old and makes zero money in hockey, Ian has worked for free. Okay. So from this point, when my kid got drafted, the next thing was, and looking back on it, and I kind of knew, but I thought it was important, like for me, to separate dad, coach, team. I felt it was important that there's a business, like the business side of it is taken care of by a business person, which is
You need a third
our
party
agent
in there.
Ian, yeah. So you have a third party take care of that. So anyways, in the OHL, the packages are pretty standard. You get a gold or you get a OHL package that pays for every year. Like there's not a lot. There's a little bit here and there, and sometimes it can be generous or whatever. So anyways, what was good is the agent looked at the paperwork and made sure everything was good, signed it. It's like, okay, now what? Now the question is, what can an agent do for you after that? You have to play. So to me, the agent, if you need one, is, and this is how we've kept it, is that if you need a business transaction, I don't want to be the one doing it, so Ian would do that. But we've never had to do that. So his only next job would be to, if there's a contract coming up, is to do the deal, negotiate.
Yeah.
In between that, now people could argue, yeah, but how do you promote him? It's like, well, that's not his job. Promoting. People might think that, but that's not his job. Your promotion is how you play. So, anyways, that's that. The next type of agents are in college you have advisors, which could be the same people that just have different names for some freaking reason. Don't know why. But the high end professional agents are not charging money. They get paid on a percentage of your contract. And then just because I had a couple people the last couple of weeks ago, yeah, nice bill you get now. What did they do to earn that money? It's like, everyone's excited about getting an agent, and you like it because it was your Bobby Big Wheel when you were 16, but now you got to pay the money, and then you can look back and say, yeah, what did they do? Right? What did they do?
Happens.
That's a great question.
Time.
Right. All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. So I had a very, very high profile guy come in my office one day. He goes, these guys, if I make this money, they're getting this much. He goes, screw that. I'm firing them. I go, oh, but you liked it when they got you the first one, didn't they? And he kept them. Anyway, so there's that. Then you got so then the level of agents.
Sorry, pause. Just clean it up. So basically where we're at, we've introduced this player you're talking about who's high OHL pick. He's an NHL pick. The question comes in, how do you know the agent's working? That's where we started. We're still there. So then we just talked about the kind of the top tier agent for the high level player and what their job would be going into, let's say, the OHL or NCAA versus the next step where they do something would be NHL contract negotiation. That's kind of like the actual agent at the root of it. That's their job. Anything beyond that isn't really their job. So that's kind of where we're at. Negotiate the contracts. And then you can get into like certain agents want to call more than others and this kind of thing, but that's not really their job to do that. It's like their job is to negotiate the contracts. If there's an issue, it's a third party person that can have discussions. That's what the agent does at the highest level.
Yeah.
Good there.
Yes.
So now we're going into next tier.
So the next tier of agents or advisors is not what I'm going to be talking about today, but I just want people to understand that. Is that the next tier is that there's a lot of people that have agents or advisors to help them get places in the junior world. Now, for me, I don't understand it because I think most of the stuff you could just do yourself, or part of it is not necessary. But there's some guys that use it and they like it, and God bless you, the horse rode in on. So those ones would be like, so Eric, you're playing you're playing midget, or you're maybe going to junior B, but you want to get other places. So you pay a fee for someone to help you get to another team.
Make some calls.
So they make some calls.
Maybe they have a network. Whatever.
They have a network. They make some calls. They get you a camp, or they get you maybe promote enough to get you to out west or whatever, but we're not talking the OHL and stuff. We're getting at different levels, and then maybe everything works out, maybe it doesn't, but that's a different type of agent. That's not the one I'm talking about today, just to be clear. Okay, so now the question is, how do you know he's working for you? So we're going to go back to player A that we're talking about. So